This week we have the reprisal of our chainsaw-handed hero.
And I watched the correct one of the 5 horror movies named Heretic this week on Horror and the Hater.
Welcome to our podcast. I'm Brett Hayes.
And I'm Steven with the PH, and this is another episode of Horror and the Hater, the podcast where I am forced into frantically watching a horror movie so I don't disappoint my best friend.
Is
How you
it
doing,
really
Brett?
forced anymore?
I
Is it
mean,
really
at
forced?
this point, we're double digits into the episode, or are we? No, we're not. We're getting close to double digits. Maybe after double digits, I'll be on the downhill of this slope. But
Okay. All right. We'll just have to do like horror and the lover. Horror lovers.
I don't
That's
know if we'll ever
terrible.
get to there. But yeah, no, we
That's
need the alliteration, man.
right.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. So look, guys, we actually came prepared this week. As
we
you
did.
heard in the intro, we did 2 episodes. Once again, we're back. We did it. We've we've done the minimum. We've done the bare minimum. Nothing to chime in,
You know what? I'm gonna
huh?
say that my happy accident helped us come up with a great new segment for the podcast. That's probably gonna be one of the most popular segment once this thing takes off. So
Sure.
I think I did us a service
You
in the
did.
grand scheme of things. And yeah, I also watched another horror movie that I wasn't supposed to. So
There you go.
you get the W on that.
Hell yeah. And that's just how we like it here at Horror and the Hater. The segment he was talking about was actually a lot of fun. Go ahead and tell us about your love child from last episode, just in case somebody else didn't get to see it.
Yeah, no, so definitely go back and check it out. So we have the Tournament of Terror. We've decided that now every dozen movies or so, we will go through, rank them with or seed them with our star rankings, and put them through a little tournament where we figure out which one is the most watchable out of all the horror movies, as you know, determined by the consensus of both the horror and the hater. And
Oh,
so it was kind of crazy with our first tournament bracket coming out, with Rats
yeah.
as the 5 seed,
Hey,
coming
man.
coming out of the middle of the bracket, to dominate. I don't know if you can really call it like one of those Sweet 16, upsets,
It was.
but it
Mm,
was pretty magical for
and
the first tournament.
I'll just say, some people will say that's so rigged, that's fixed, and it was by me because I bullied Steven into accepting it. So,
But you know what?
yeah,
That's just kind of how the tournament goes sometimes. I'm sure I'll bully you someday back. But
someday.
yeah. But no, it was a fun tournament. I'm excited to get a few new contenders. So this week's was a little bit of a mixed bag. We had
It was
one that was
a
pretty good and one that was a little bit rougher.
little less than ideal, right?
Yeah.
I say we kick it off with that one. And he's talking
Yep.
about,
Let's just get it out of the way.
yeah, he's talking about 1993's Army of Darkness. We're back with Sam Raimi, and this time he brought his brothers, Ivan and Ted. And if you don't know who Ted Raimi is, he's actually like, there's a video game I like. It's called The Quarry. Most people have heard of Until Dawn. The Quarry had like David Arquette in it, which is what made me want to play it. I'm a David Arquette fan, which is weird to say out loud. I usually don't say that out loud. But yeah, he was like the sheriff in that game. He was actually a lot of fun. I've seen him on other things. He usually has smaller roles, but yeah, man. So he was one of the I want to say peasants. I can't really remember if he was an actual knight. I want to say he was a
One
peasant
of the
though.
town folk.
I think so. I think so.
Wait, is he
Um,
the dude with the mustache
he does
and
have
like
a
the
mustache
bald
in it.
guy? Is he bald?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Wait.
There was. I'm
He's
just trying to
bald.
remember.
He's bald now. We just watched this movie.
I
Let me
know.
tell you, that is an indication of what we remember about this movie after watching it.
How to
So,
describe this movie? Forgettable.
oh no, sneak peek. I don't want to hate on Evil Dead.
I do.
Okay, well, that's kind of why you're here. So the movie was made for 11 million. I did read somewhere else it was made for 11 and a
What?
half. That's right. Would you like to guess how much it made? And I will give you the crown if you come out with just the opening weekend's amount too.
Give me give me $3 million.
You're actually really close to opening weekend. It was 4 million.
Okay.
However, it went on to get 22 million. So they did make their money back on the movie.
Uh,
Um, yeah, I, hey man, I don't, it
I
was
mean, good
obviously,
for them, but wow.
it was obviously kind of helped out just by the namesake, which is kind of weird. I wonder, because obviously we weren't around at that time. I was a toddler, but I wonder if it was like kind of marketed as Evil Dead Army of Darkness or if it was just Army of Darkness. Because when I look it up, it only ever just says Army of Darkness. But obviously it has Bruce Campbell and a chainsaw on the front. So you're like, oh yeah, if you've seen it, if you've seen Evil Dead 2, then you know
Right.
what you're getting into.
I mean, I guess we just didn't have Twitter back then for everybody to clown it. And
Right, yeah.
so that's why it can make, an extra what, $18 million after its opening weekend. Just word of mouth hasn't gotten around that this movie's kind of a dud.
So you're going to be very surprised then because before I give you the notable actor, just because we're talking about it, IMDb has it at a 7.4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes coming in at a 68, and Letterboxd has a 3.7 out of 5. So there's plenty of people
Hmm.
that love this fucking movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like this one just seemed like it was so almost like phoned in. Like the fact that it didn't even get to
Uh,
90 minutes is kind of crazy. And it really just seems like they were just kind of kind of milking the intellectual property for whatever it was
it's
worth.
I see it differently. I see it as they went big and they wanted to go in a different direction. They went, oh, instead of just rolling at this, like in the first movie where it's mostly just at one like central set piece. Then the second one, it's kind of expanded, but not really. And this third one, they're just like, let's get the hell out of the woods and let's go to 1300 AD. And
If they wanted to go in a different direction, they took a hairpin curve with this one. That's for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. So, my notable actor for this, it's not going to come as any surprise. It's Bruce Campbell. I Bruce Campbell, it's so weird for me because I've always seen him in smaller roles. I had seen Evil Dead, the original, a few times, and I've seen Army of Darkness one other time besides this time. So I actually don't know him as well from Evil Dead. Uh, I'm not all there. Like I get why people like him, and I see the kind of he's a physical actor, he's got great facial expressions. um he does deliver some pretty lines that would otherwise be really really dumb, like groovy and stuff like that.
He's
He
got
does
that
it.
great hairline and that
He
chiseled
does,
jaw.
yeah,
You
like he's
know,
kind of
what
the
more can you ask for out of your
and they kind
80s
of play
action
that up
slash horror
because
star?
he's got that like more action star feel, and they definitely like threw that into here because this is definitely like a horror action comedy.
Right.
Uh, yeah, so my honorable mention, I guess I'm gonna give it to Ian Abercrombie because I had noticed him from Seinfeld. He was Elaine's boss in the early season,
See
one
the
or
wizard?
two seasons. He's the wise man, so
Oh, okay.
who played it very straight for a very silly movie, which I guess some of the actors just did, like, but there was so much weird stuff going on that I was like, all right, well, I don't know.
I alternated between calling him Gandalf, Dumbledore, and Merlin, but whichever one just kind of popped into my head first as he came onto the screen. I was like, oh, hey, it's Gandalf again. There he
Right.
is.
So what say you? What about your favorite actor in this movie?
Oh, man. Favorite? I don't know if I can come up with a favorite, but for my hater movies, we're gonna start doing my horrifying performances. And for this one, I am going to go with the Sheila. The I didn't even look up the actress's name,
Oh no, it would
but
be
she
Invest
just,
Davids.
yeah, she was just bipolar as hell, man. Like at first, this dude just walks in stocks, and she just goes and joins the kids and beating the heck out of him. And 2 seconds later, she's like, "Are you the chosen one? Are you coming to save us all?" And by the end, she's ready to jump on his sword. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But yeah, it's she was all over the place, man, and was just quite stale in the performance. But once again, the script you don't really have a whole lot to work with there. So what are you really gonna do? My honorable mention for horrifying performances is going to be the King of the Dead there towards the end. He just really didn't do it for me. I wasn't horrified. I wasn't stricken with fear at the sight of the undead horde. He wasn't doing it. It looks like he got his mask at Spirit Halloween in their clearance section.
We
What are we doing
clashed
here,
then.
man?
We
$11 million you spent on this, and this is what we're doing?
so we clashed because Bruce Campbell was the big bad.
Oh, okay.
I
Not
look, mostly he's my mention for I guess I would. He played like six different characters if we're gonna count all of his little Gulliver Travels guys as as three separate.
so he's the Eddie Murphy of this movie.
He's Norbit.
Just he is Norbit.
This is probably where they got the
Yeah.
inspiration for Norbit, I would imagine.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
this one, and I feel like I hate to go back to Lord of the Rings. You say I
No,
bring it
here
up
we
too
are.
much, but this one has a lot of Lord of the Rings vibes. It's just like have the Rohirrim showing up at the end to come and save the day. Get the army of the dead. You have the skeletons digging up and creating more armies of the dead. It was
Mm,
like the orcs digging out the other orcs out of the pits of Isengard.
yeah,
There's maybe Peter Jackson did pull a little bit of influence from Sam Raimi.
I
Who
think
knows?
Sam Raimi should probably send him a letter
Sirs.
then.
Yeah.
So I if you haven't seen this, I usually wait to recommend. Uh,
You don't have to do it. You don't have to go watch it.
there,
If you don't watch it, your life will not substantially change. If you do watch it, I don't know, you might be changed.
so really, you're watching this to find out if the Book of the Dead, what actually happens with it, how does Ash defeat it? We'll get into that. Uh, but first, you have to realize that Ash is dropped back into 1300 AD at the end of Evil Dead 2. There was a retcon that I didn't like in there, and it was he shot like that bat-looking demon coming at him in Evil Dead 2 at the end, right? And
Yeah.
then all of the like townspeople, or not any townspeople, right? It was just all
All the all
soldiers
the,
and
all the
stuff.
soldiers were just like, "This is our king."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh shit." So Ash is now going to lead a kingdom against the dead, and I think that would be a way better movie. Transported back to the medieval days, and then they're like, "Hey, we know what the Book of the Dead is," and they send him on a quest to go get it. And that's pretty much the movie in a nutshell.
Yeah. This one was a kind of a wild ride. We start there with Ash being transported back. We get a solid 5 minutes of recapping. Once again, this movie cannot even scrape the 90-minute mark. It comes in at, I believe, 81 minutes. 5 minutes of that being the opening recap of the first two movies, and another 5 minutes of that being the ending credits sequence. So you're getting a solid, what, 71 minutes of movie here. It's amazing. But we start off with him being transported back to 1300 AD. He is taken prisoner this time. That is the retcon. So the wizard says he might be the chosen one, but Arthur says that he's definitely one of the bad guys, one of the evil hordes. So they
Right.
take him prisoner with the rest of the other people that they were fighting, and take him back to the castle. um we come back, and this lady Sheila is asking about her brother, and the king is very cold and being like, oh yeah, he fought really valiantly, but he's dead, sorry about that, and then just keeps on writing.
I was gonna do a worst actor for this. It would have been the king, played by
He
Marcus Gilbert. Was it Lord Arthur? Whoa, didn't even look like a king, really.
Yeah, I kept having to come back and be like, oh wait, yeah, no, 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 he's supposed to be in charge.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the captain of the King's Guard, and
Yeah. No, he gets punked from the very beginning. He wants to be all big and bad. He's got his prisoners, and he's gonna throw them into the pit. And it's this big scary pit. They throw one of the guys down in there, and nothing happens for a second until we hear a scream from him, and then an Old Faithful style geyser of blood just comes gushing up from the pit.
that was sick.
So who knows what is down there? I think George Lucas also may have taken some inspiration for the Sarlacc, or maybe they got I'm
I
mixing
think
up my
they would have,
dates.
yeah, they would have got
Yeah.
it from them.
So can't remember whenever Return of the Jedi came out, but yeah, so he gets thrown into the medieval Sarlacc pit, and finds some demon woman down there.
Yeah,
Uh, and so, hey, you know what? This is nothing that Ash hasn't seen before. But unfortunately, they've taken his chainsaw hand. That's when Gandalf shows up, and knowing that he's the chosen one, tosses him his chainsaw, which he just jumps up and punches the air, and it attaches to his arm in very dramatic fashion, and
you
he
didn't think
goes
that
to
was
work.
badass?
I mean, that I was like, all right, cool. Like this is we're doing it this way. This is a good
Yeah, I thought
good
so.
preview of what this movie's gonna be.
It had been so long since I had seen it. Uh, I could not remember. I was like, oh, it's going to be a bloodbath the rest of the movie. And to their credit, I mean, there was a lot of fighting towards the end after he got
Did they
that.
spend the 11 million on buying an actual castle to shoot at? Because what were they spending the money on? It wasn't on
Uh,
prosthetics.
uh, well, so the demon girl looked pretty good. The evil Ash, I mean, you couldn't tell it was Ash, so pretty
I'm
good.
just saying they did better in previous movies with smaller budgets. So
I do agree. The stop motion in this movie was better.
it was a little bit better.
It was
But
better.
once again, we were working with Halloween yard decorations
Mm,
is
I
basically
get
what
it.
what we were doing. But yes, they moved a little bit smoother than our dancing Linda from last time.
You,
So
when they first took her up into the sky with that demon thing, though, they took an obvious blonde lady up into the sky. It's the blonde lady again. It's like they're doing it on purpose. I think they
they're
are doing it
just
on purpose.
they're just messing with us. They
And
keep
it's just
retconning this lady's hair color, and it's like, you've changed who Linda is every single time. I can't figure out who. Yeah, at least throw a redhead into the mix. Like, what are we doing? They kind of do at the end,
her stunt
but
double would still be a blonde-headed lady.
yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh. So Ash he defeats this demon lady in the pit, and emerges to face the King Arthur stand-in. Hits him with the your shoelaces are untied, even though I don't even know if they have shoelaces in 1300 AD. I mean, I guess they.
I'm sure
might,
they
but
did.
just
Yeah.
depends on how their boots are crafted. Hits him with that, and then hits him with a real nice uppercut, and even though he just assaulted the king, none of the other soldiers are like, "Oh, we're gonna kill this guy for assaulting the king." They're just like, "Ooh."
Hmm.
Might show you what kind of a king he is. He might not be very well loved by his knights. Anyway, Arthur then draws a sword and challenges Ash, as he should. Ash somehow got his shotgun back as well, though, and then shoots the sword in half. And we take an ad break for Remington shotguns and save one.
I actually liked
So,
that part. I know that this movie is real. I mean, it's super heavy on the comedy. They obviously pivoted that way, and maybe that was because Evil Dead 2 has, some good reception. So, but man, that was one of the few parts that I was actually like, that's funny. That's good.
yeah, no, that was one of them where the comedy kind of actually worked,
Yeah.
where it was like, all right, this is actually a decent use of it. A lot of the other comedy just did not land in the way that I think that they wanted it to. So now he is the king. We took a little bit of time to get there, but now Ash is the king, so we're caught up with the second Evil Dead. He's being fed grapes as he lounges on a chair by his female attendants and fanned by large palm leaves. The wizard comes in, tells Ash that he must go on a quest to find the Necronomicon, and in order to return home, he's got to get it and destroy it. And so then we have one of the old water ladies get possessed and tell Ash that she will feast on his soul. She attacks the group, and then Ash kills her with 4 shots from his double-barreled shotgun. Um,
He picked up
we're,
that unlimited ammo perk as well.
he got that unlimited ammo perk, as we will see for the rest of the time, because this man, I believe, reloads his shotgun maybe twice in the entire movie, but he's cranking them out. I seem to remember also in the first movie there being half a box of shells down there, and he's already expended quite a bit of them. I don't know where he's getting the rest of these 12 gauge shells, but he's got that unlimited ammo perk for
We're
sure.
going to go ahead and retcon that.
Yes. So then go to the blacksmith to get ready for this quest. They forge him a new awesome prosthetic medieval hand.
That was pretty
Uh,
awesome.
so once again, taking inspiration from George Lucas. Sheila comes to visit in her bipolar state, asks if he's the chosen one after she was beating him in the streets not a few hours ago. Um, he thinks that she's just a dumb girl, and her primitive intellect can't understand his future ways. But she made him a blanket, and he's really ungrateful, so she slaps him and storms out. And then he follows after her and grabs her and says, "Give me some sugar, baby." And then they kiss passionately. So we're just gonna rush this romance story because once again, we don't have 90 minutes. All right, we gotta get through this thing.
Right.
But the wizard then takes Ash out to this pass. He gives him very clear instructions on retrieving the book, tells him the phrase that he needs to say, and tells Ash to repeat it so that he can remember the exact phrase. Ash is annoying. He got the phrase down. Don't worry about that. Goes off into the pass. Uh, Suddenly, his horse begins to freak out in the fog. Something is coming at him through the forest. Ash is then clotheslined comically off of his horse and continues to flee the evil that is coming at him through the forest. He flees to a random windmill and is able to hold the evil at bay as he keeps the door shut. Night falls. He breaks a mirror that starts messing with him because his reflection is like staring back at him all weird. Breaks the mirror. That doesn't help because then all of his reflections from the broken shards of the mirror come up like little gremlins and start tormenting him in all kinds of different ways. This was a scene that I know was supposed to be funny, but really just it just didn't work for me. I don't know about you, man, but
It was the same. A lot of the comedy did not land for me, and I felt bad because it was the same thing in Evil Dead 2, like the whole hand fighting the hand thing. That
yeah,
it
the
just
fighting the
doesn't
hand
do it.
worked a little bit better, but yeah. No, this was even worse than the stop motion Linda like dancing with her head. There you have these little gremlins just doing Olympic high dives into his mouth, and then he's chugging boiling water to boil the sucker alive inside of him. Seems like a
Which
really bad way to get revenge.
it did lead to the I did like the eyeball coming out of the shoulder. So,
That I mean, that was yeah, that was weird. Yeah, an eyeball comes out of his shoulder. He then splits into like a conjoined twin off of some A&E show,
right.
and then eventually separates into good Ash and evil Ash.
Hmm.
Um, a quick little commentary on the duality of man. But then Ash blows his head off with a shotgun, but not in like a cool way. Like that was the other thing. It's like you go to blow his head off with a shotgun, and then you just see like a prosthetic like dummy fly back, and then he cuts him up with a chainsaw off camera, and you get to see his head talking shit as he's burying his body.
That's the weird thing that, and I get it. We retconned most of the rest of the series at this point, I guess. But I always thought that it said the only way you can take them down is to sever their
Well, he
limbs from
did
their
dismember
body.
the body.
But
He
it
did dismember the body.
didn't take him down.
Well, I mean, like the head was still alive and everything, but he couldn't get after him anymore. So, because I mean, you still saw the other heads in previous movies. I'm pretty sure once they were dismembered, you still had heads that were talking all that noise as
That's
they were
true.
being buried.
I just on the tape, he's
But
like the only thing that I found that works is complete and total dismemberment,
yeah,
which is what he does.
yeah.
Look, it's a
So
nitpick. I don't really care. I'm just
I
stating what I
mean,
thought would work. And I also liked him. I can't remember what he says to him when he's like burying him. He's like, "You got something on your face," and he's like, "What?" And he hits him with the
what?
dirt.
And
He's
then
like, "Oh
yeah, he
God!"
hit some. Yeah,
That
that
one did
was
work for me. That was good.
that one. Much like the dirt on his face, that one landed. So he buries up this body, rides off, continuing to search for the Necronomicon, and he comes onto a suspicious altar in the middle of the woods, upon which sits three copies of the Necronomicon. It's like that scene in Raiders, or not in, yeah, in Raiders. Raiders? Which
No,
one does he search for the Holy Grail? Um,
that would be the
yeah,
Last Crusade,
Last Crusade. That's right. It's like he has to pick the right grail, otherwise he's messed up.
which Stephen did buy me that chalice.
I did, yes, I did purchase you a holy grail. You're welcome. I'm a great
Thank you.
friend,
Thank
guys.
you.
I
That was
buy
pretty good.
fantastic gifts. They're pretty great gifts. So he doesn't pick the right Necronomicon. He
Of
he
course.
gets he gets like sucked inside of the first one, and has to like crawl his way out and then shake his face back to normal. Reaches for the second one and it bites him like it's that book from Harry Potter. That's all monstery.
Before it
Um,
bites him, though, he does do that great little, like he's trying to choose in between the books. And I mean,
yeah,
you know it's not going to go well for him. And when it
you
bites him, I'm like, yeah,
chose poorly.
fully. Yeah.
Yeah, so finally he's like, all right, the third one is obviously the correct book. So we're gonna go ahead and grab this one. But then he remembers, oh wait, I'm supposed to say these words that the wizard told me before, but he can't remember the words. But he knows that it was definitely an N word. That was one of the. I don't know if they did that
Right.
line on purpose.
It was
I
on
mean,
purpose.
they
It was
definitely
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was a good one. I think that was probably the one that I was like, all right, that's the funniest line of the movie right there. That's the one that's really landed so far.
You didn't like the
So
"This
he
is my
says,
boomstick"?
I mean, that one was all right, but
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
It was just all right.
it wasn't great. So he recites basically, essentially the words that he was supposed to, more or
I like
less.
I liked it when he was like he was saying it and then he coughed into his shoulder and like waited for it. You're right.
Grabs the book and heads back to the castle. But as he grabs the book, the ground begins to shake. Lightning begins to strike random people at the castle. That was kind of funny how you have
Yeah.
a storm with a vendetta against specific people. These skeleton hands begin to reach out from the ground and like mess with his face like they're a little brother on a road trip that's super bored.
Yeah.
And we got a couple minutes of that of those shenanigans just to really pad the runtime. So
Oh
you have a
no.
solid 90 to 120 seconds of skeleton hands going "Ugh," with Ash's face.
Right. Yeah.
So we get that he gets back to the castle, um, able to escape. The wizard asks if he spoke the words exactly, and he says, I mean, basically. Wizard informs him that he's fucked up and awoken the army of the dead. And all the villagers are really sad that they're about to be overrun by an army of undead skeletons.
Yeah.
Sheila pleads with him to help, but in typical fuckboy fashion, he's like, "Nah, I was really just trying to get out of here." Uh, but then a flying demon that the one that Ash shot in the second Evil Dead, one of
Hmm.
those suckers comes down, snatches up Sheila, carries her away to some unknown place. So that once again we have some kind of quest to fill another 30 minutes of this movie. Back at the graveyard, the Zombie King commands an army of skeletons to dig up the rest of the dead zombies. So they have their little undead Isengard going on, making more zombies. And then the Zombie King forces a really gross kiss on Sheila, and the skeletons have somehow kidnapped a lot of other women. Like there's just random women that they have in
Yeah.
chains
Yeah.
rolling through the graveyard. Don't know where they got them, but they're just out there snatching bitches. So
Oh my
keep an
God.
eye on your girl, you know. Then we have a scout coming back to the castle telling the king about the army of the dead, and Ash encourages the men to fight. And slowly and dramatically, the men all agree to fight. Back at the graveyard, Sheila's been turned into a demon queen. This is really sad. At the castle, they're reconstructing Ash's car and using a conveniently placed chemistry textbook that was in the trunk of Ash's car to make weapons of war. And so now the army of the dead is approaching the castle under the light of the full moon. The skeleton flautists lead the band or lead the troops onto the field of battle. Um, that was another thing that like I wish that had worked, but the skeleton flute players just it really didn't hit.
It fell through.
But
Yeah.
yeah, you know. But then we have the plastic yard decoration skeleton from Spirit Halloween that somebody strapped onto a horse, um, leading the charge onto the onto the castle.
Yeah.
The archers respond with some bomb tipped arrows that they obviously constructed using the chemistry textbook. But a siege battalion is approaching with battering ram. They hit them with catapults, blowing bones in every direction. Uh, the Bone Battalion rams the gates as the undead archers defend them. They breach the gates and eventually storm the castle. They battle it out in the courtyard, and the men defend that book from falling into the hands of the undead king. Ash then comes in riding on his car that has been transformed into like this big medieval tank of some kind. I don't know. We never really get a good view of what they have turned the car into. It's a lot of like quick cuts and you kind of get a little bit of a view out of it.
Sure.
They've turned it into something. He's mowing down skeletons in this thing. But it is a little bit short for a little bit short for this world because all of a sudden Sheila pops up in
Mm,
her human form.
mm.
And Ash, once again, on his third bitch of the series, is just like, oh no, I can't do it. Slams on the brakes, flips the tank. Then what happens? Sheila's right back into demon form. Boom, trying to stab him with a spear. He kicks her into the pit that is somehow still open. I don't know why they left the pit open. They had the
Yeah,
door. They seems like if you're in a precarious situation, like a siege is going to happen, you don't want to leave the demon pit just like randomly open. I don't
agreed.
know. Unless you have kind of some kind of strategic plan for it. Didn't seem like they did.
Blood geyser.
Yeah. But um just in the nick of the time, King Henry and his men show up like the riders of Rohan to turn the tide of the battle. They come storming in and start trying to kick some skeleton butt. King of the Dead, he's going for the book, but Ash does a sick, cut the rope and ride the counterweight up to the top of the wall thing and gets up there to fight him. He battles through the undead army and is eventually stabbed by Demon Sheila. He stabs her with a spear and then hoists her over the ramparts. Once again, we don't get a whole lot of satisfying deaths in this one. That one was
Yeah, I think
kind of all right.
the most satisfying death I had was actually when he did like cut that rope and go swinging back up to the castle. And the bone guy's like on the ground. He's like, "Hey,
Oh
where'd you
yeah, and
go?" And then he gets crushed.
gets smashed by
Yeah,
the
best death.
counterweight coming down.
Yeah,
That one was at least a little bit more whimsical.
yeah.
But he gets out to or he gets up to the king at the who has reached the Book of the Dead, and they do battle in what was actually like a pretty well choreographed fight. For what it was, I enjoyed that one. They obviously put some work into the choreography there, so I'll give them their due on that fight. Ash then shoves a torch into his face, burning off the last bit of flesh from his skeleton. And then his skeleton rises and has a quote unquote bone to pick, pun definitely intended,
All
with
right.
Ash. So Ash's torch falls right onto the fuse of an explosive that's on a catapult, and then the king jumps down onto the catapult with the bomb on it, and then Ash just grabs the book and then sets off the catapult, and it rockets him into space, and he explodes. Couldn't have drawn it up any better. Like,
It wasn't convenient, I'll tell you that.
yeah, no, took took a while to get there, but they got there.
Earned that
So
shit.
after that happens, all the skeletons flee, and the demon leaves Sheila, and she's actually all better. Like this is the one time that we've actually had a demon leave and mean it.
Yeah.
So after all the skeletons leave, the two armies that were warring at the beginning of this, they hug it out and unite, and everything's all better. The wizard then makes Ash a potion and gives him a spell to return back to his time. He gives Sheila one more kiss, gets on his horse, and rides off into the woods. We then see Ash back at his Save Mart, back in the hardwares division, where he regales a coworker with the story of how he was a king and could have stayed there and been the king and all that stuff, and he doesn't believe him. But cute redhead who's shopping in the store kind of believes him until suddenly a wind sweeps through the store and a demon lady tries to kill the cute redhead that he was just chatting up. So Ash then grabs a rifle from the gun section. This was back when we lived in a proper country and you could just
Oh
go
my
buy a rifle
gosh.
in a grocery store if you wanted to.
Oh,
He grabs a rifle and just starts pumping lead into this bitch. He then holsters his rifle. He has a side holster for a rifle, which is pretty crazy. He like spins it like it's a pistol and then just
Hmm.
like shoves it into his side holster. And then kisses the redhead, and we cut to credits. 5 minutes of credits
Yeah.
that bring our runtime above 80 minutes.
So, look, we've already kind of prefaced the summary of this movie and the beat for beat by saying it's definitely not one of our favorites. But let me go ahead and tell you what I did like about the movie. I liked Bruce Campbell's one-liners. I thought those were really, really fun. I didn't like the rest of his dialogue, but the big difference from Evil Dead 2 to Army of Darkness was that I felt like uh his character's confidence was completely earned. The entire time I had no issues with his actual character. I just thought the writing was a little I think it's such a missed opportunity for Evil Dead, and I hope that that's what they're course correcting now with this new movie coming out. I know that they're more of anthology type movies, all in the same universe but different stories. But I just like that they have this lore that they could really expand on if they wanted to, and that's
You
really
could
what I
do
want to
so much
see.
with that.
And that's what I want to see, like, or if you want to have Ash driving around as, kind of Bruce Willis's character in Glass did, just beating the piss out of people. I mean, I'd watch that movie. That's the movie I want to watch. So, look, he wasn't that bad. At the grocery store scene at the end, that's my favorite scene of the movie. I think he was super badass in that scene. He had some charm to him, obviously the wit. It was just funny to see him working back at the hardware store. So I thought that scene came together so well. But the rest of the movie, I was just kind of out on. Like, it was not a movie made for me. The comedy didn't really land for me. Most of the characters, uh, you know, they weren't. It's not like the worst acting I've ever seen or anything like that. It's nowhere near that. It just
Yeah.
the dialogue, the writing in this movie, I didn't like, I didn't appreciate. Then maybe that's just me not knowing what I'm talking about, but yeah, the more like physical comedy he was doing, while I do appreciate physical comedians, is not my style typically. And it hasn't been my style since I was a kid. I used to love Ace Ventura. I feel like I've now seen all physical comedy that I can stand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, with all that being said, it's definitely not as far as a franchise movies goes and a third entry to a franchise, it's really not that bad. I'm gonna give it a 2.5, I think. I think that's where we're gonna land with Army of Darkness for me. What say you, Stephen with a PH?
Yeah. This one did not land for me. I don't think it was funny enough to be fun. It felt like it was trying to be a fun movie,
Yeah.
but it just wasn't funny enough to actually suck me in and be fun. We were kind of talking about this before we started recording, but this is the shortest movie that we've watched out of all of them, but it felt longer than Midsummer. I kept looking at
Ooh.
just like how much longer is left?
Ooh.
How much longer is left? Oh my gosh, it just kept dragging on and on
I'm
and
I'm
on.
only gonna ask this because they're never gonna come up in battle. Which one felt longer, Street Trash 87 or Army of Darkness?
Man, like uh, str- probably Army of Darkness. Like it was,
Whoa.
yeah. Street Trash, you at
Damn.
least had it interrupted with like some fun exploding people and a couple of boobs. So like you had some things to keep you locked in.
Yeah,
But
sure.
with this one, it's just like you're not even doing cool magic stuff. But that's the thing. Like kind of like you mentioned, there's just so much that you could do with this lore and with this property. And it just feels like they really phoned it in with this one and took a real hard left turn, took a chance, and really just, in my opinion, fell completely flat. It was just such a hard pivot from what they were what they were doing. It would be like if you ended Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Luke is flying back to Dagobah, and then he hits hyperspace and ends up in the Lego movie. And then that's just your third Star Wars is just it's the Lego movie. It just seems like way out of place of where we should be for this franchise. And so, like, do something cool with it. Like, go into the lore of the demons. Like, if you want to do it, lean more into the wizard's character. Like, get him involved a little bit. Stop focusing on this pussy ass king who we can't even tell is the king. Like, let's get into the wizard lore. How about the wizard goes and fights, uses a little bit of his magic and stuff.
He doesn't have magic.
It's
He's not a wizard. Stephen, he's a wise man.
he's definitely a wizard, okay?
He's a wise
He
man.
definitely. Well, then make him a wizard. You're in a realm where you got like all kinds of magic and demons and stuff happening. Let's make
Oh,
this guy a wizard. It's
what?
not too much of a stretch.
You know what? Since they're going crazy with it, what if wise man turns into wise guy, pulls out the pulls out the dual pistols and goes ham on some skeletons?
That would have
What's
been such a better ending.
it would have been
I
really
would have
cool.
loved that. That would have been fantastic. But no, we didn't get that. We got this Merlin wannabe over here that has no powers at all. It's like you got a
Uh,
guy with a chainsaw for a hand who's traveling through time, but this guy can't do a little bit of abracadabra. Like what are we doing here? This is yeah, no, it's just I'm gonna give this thing 2 stars.
okay.
It's just it's not really there was, I kind of like the second Evil Dead and they were getting more into the lore of it and doing that and then with this they just they just kind of take it off into nowheresville.
Yeah,
Don't get it at all.
out of the three we've seen, I'm still highest on the original Evil Dead. I really like that movie. I've seen it plenty of times. Uh, I don't know that I'll revisit these other two for a while, unless we were gonna, possibly pit them all together, a while down the road. I don't feel like I need to rewatch these two. Uh,
Yeah.
not, I would see Evil Dead 2 for continuity's sake, but even then, like, how much continuity is there between one and two? You already get the whole story at the beginning of
Yeah.
two, and then at the beginning
What are
of
you missing?
Army of
And then at the
Darkness.
beginning of 3, you get another. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're recapping it each time, and each time it changes in the recap. So you don't even really need to see the other ones.
that's true. I mean, to each their own. Some people really lean into that, the comedy, and this really works for them. That's why, for me, it's easier to kind of look. And I didn't hate the effects near as much as you did. I thought
Saying for
the
$11 million, I
I
feel
know
like you could
it's.
let's throw a couple more buckets of blood in there. You
I
know?
agree.
Those can't
Yeah.
be that expensive.
I have no clue what the going rate for a bucket of blood is.
I
They
don't
probably
either, and I'm
they
not
spent
gonna
it all.
Google it.
They spent it all on the blood geyser. I am gonna Google it later.
Cool. You have fun with that.
I will not.
Let them,
s-
yeah,
so there we go. 2.5 for me, a 2 for the hater.
wash my
I'm
hands of it.
trying not to be a hater. Like, I was really sitting there like, man, like, it's not that bad. I have seen so many
I
really
wanted to have
bad
fun with it.
movies. I did too. And I think that's what like bothered me the whole time is I felt bored. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, like, that sucks. Like, maybe I saw this when I saw it years ago. I couldn't remember why I didn't really revisit it. I didn't remember a ton about the movie. Uh, and then now that I'm rewatching, I'm like, dang it. It's like I've seen movies that
Yeah, you blocked it out of your brain.
I know. Or like when you revisit a movie from your childhood and you're like, that movie was so good. And then you watch it and you're like, dang it. I should have
Like,
never watched it
oh,
again.
yeah.
This probably, if I would have cheated and just not watched it, this probably would have been like a 3-star movie. But I digress.
Well, hey,
So
I'm glad that in addition to you making me watch horror movies, I can make you hate having to watch a horror movie. So
I didn't hate it.
that
I
feels
I
like a win for me.
did not hate it. That is a positive review. 2.5 is a positive review. Not the review
All
that a
right.
lot of people would like
Okay.
to see. It's nowhere near the
Okay.
70 or 7.4 out of 10 from IMDb, but
Yeah. What, 3.7 out of five
yeah,
stars? It's
Letterbox is a little
insane.
weird. I never see like super high scores. I mean, we've been watching like big time movies, so we've seen some high scores, but that's a pretty good score on Letterbox for sure. So,
Yeah, that's insane to me.
hmm I want to get into a
Ugh.
movie that I really like, and that is The Heretic. It's a two director movie or two person directed movie. What is that? Yeah, anyway, it's Scott Beck and Brian Woods. If you've seen Haunt, that came out in 2019, they wrote and directed that, which was I really liked it. I thought Haunt was a really cool movie, and then they wrote Quiet Place. Yeah, have you seen A Quiet Place?
I haven't, but I've heard mostly like good things about it.
I think you'd
So
like it.
that's
We'll
the
have
one with John Krasinski.
correct, and his wife
Yeah.
Emily Blunt. So it's
Yeah.
it's a it's a good movie. We'll have to visit at some point. They have three of them now. So
Oh wow.
yeah, uh, yeah, and they're all solid. This
Yeah.
movie was made on a $10 million budget. Steven, how much did it make?
With this one, you know what? Let's give it 25 mil. Say 25
Ooh,
mil,
it made
more than a double up.
$60 million.
Good for it. And
So
these A24 films are they're kind of cooking. At least the
yeah,
ones that
you
we're
like
watching.
it. So A24, I never thought that I would be that guy because I am a slasher guy for sure. And slashers are not like highbrow stuff. A24 is very artsy. And they've had some absolute bangers of movies coming out. So, really like what A24 does. They have big time misses for me too. But I have liked a lot of movies that have come out, and these like past couple years for horror have been incredible. So if you're a horror fan, I mean, how lucky are we right now? But it stars Hugh Grant, who is my notable actor as Mr. Reed. What what a wonderful like performance we got from Hugh Grant. I only know Hugh Grant mostly from rom-coms. I know he's been in a lot of stuff, but rom-coms are what I know Hugh Grant from. So when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, weird. Is he gonna like try to sex up some missionaries or something?" But no, that's not what happened at all. He was really charming and disarming, but always had that kind of underlining like, is this dude just really nice or is he a creep? And
Makes you a little uneasy.
dude, he kills it with that too.
Yeah.
Super smart. I mean, the guy oozes charisma. I mean, he chewed it up. So, love that. And then my honorable mention is gonna go to Chloe East as Sister Paxton. Uh, I can't remember the actress's name that plays Sister Barnes. She's
Sophie
striking.
Thatcher.
There you go. She's striking while the iron's hot. She was in Companion that I really liked. That was awesome. But back to Chloe East. Chloe East was she was great. Like I've met young Mormon girls that act just like Sister Paxton. Um, and she killed it. Even like towards the end where she pulls the wool over his eyes, I thought that she did the flip perfectly. I felt terrible for her the entire time. And I thought she did really great, just playing that unassuming, like um,
That
very,
scared a little girl.
yeah. I thought she did. I thought she was awesome, and that's nothing. I mean, what was her name? Chloe Thatcher,
Sophie Thatcher. Yeah.
Sophie Thatcher. She killed it too, but we only have the two. Who are yours? We got some horrifying performances in this.
No, so I am gonna go with notable
Okay,
performances, but yeah, so Hugh Grant obviously, but I'm gonna give my notable performance to Sophie Thatcher. That's why I am able to have her name at the ready.
very good.
But I think she did a really really good job as well of being that person that's trying to stay cool and calm in these circumstances, take charge, and and inspire confidence in others in these horrible, horrifying situations.
Yeah.
But she did a great job, and I think she was really good in the those defiant moments where she's having those intellectual and theological arguments with
Yeah.
Mr. Reed, and just killed it. So I'm gonna give my notable performance to Sophie.
Sweet, man. Yeah, so this movie, it did just fine. Let me get right here. IMDb, it's got a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes pulled in a 76%, and Letterboxd had a 3.3 out of 5, which I was a little confused on with the other scores, but uh man, you got two missionaries that are, going and spreading the gospel of their respective church in an effort to like bring people salvation, right? And they go to this man's house, and I guess he had asked for more information on the church, right? Like
Yeah.
that's like his
So
thing.
they were doing their rounds on people that had inquired about the
Inquire.
Mormon faith.
Right. And so they get there and a sudden rainstorm happens. They I guess female missionaries have to have another female present in the home to enter. He says, "Yeah, my wife's in the back." He gets them to come in there, and then I mean, things with this man develop into kind of like a nightmare game of survival.
It's like a much more organized and low-key version of Saw.
Oh,
Still you
what?
get the mind games and the
I don't know.
lessons and
I don't
everything like
know.
that. He was using all of these psychological tricks to try to teach them that God isn't real and get them to discover it for themselves. You can go through this door or this door, the choice is yours. But it was just like he didn't have them all strung up in a thing.
We're
So,
gonna we're we're gonna circle back around to that. I don't like that analogy. I don't like
okay.
that.
All right. Just
Okay.
thinking it's a more
Dude, take us through
it's
this movie.
comparison I'm making. All right, fine. So we start off with these two Mormon girls on a bench talking about whether or not Magnum condoms are actually bigger than regular condoms.
Right.
And so, but no, they're just having these awkward sex conversations as Mormons, and it's kind of a funny intro. Gives us introductions into these two characters where you get the one that's trying to bring it up and trying to be bold, but is obviously a little bit more timid, and then the other one who's kind of quiet and more reserved, but you can tell she's got some thoughts about things that
Hmm.
she may just not be ready to share. Um, it was really funny though, where Sister Paxton is just like, I was watching this video. I don't know where it was, but like, these two people were like doing intercourse and stuff, and like somebody was filming them, and it was this whole thing, and it's like, yeah, that's a really crazy way to say you were watching porn.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so Sister Barnes tries to call her on it, and no, but basically the gist of the story was that porn was what convinced her that God was real, because she was able to see the light leaving that poor girl's eyes as she was contemplating her life decisions that brought her to this industry.
Okay.
Anyway, after this opening scene, we see them going about their mission, carrying their bikes everywhere. They run into a mean bunch of girls that pants Sister Paxton and show her magic underwear to the world. Um, but they arrive at this house that they're assigned to, greeted by a pleasant gentleman named Mr. Reed. And Sister Paxton starts to vomit preach at him, and he then interrupts and invites them in out of the rainstorm. Of course, they do have the rule about is your wife home? They need another woman in the house. He tells them that she is in the kitchen baking up some pies, and she'll be in just a moment. He also tells them as they enter the house that the walls and the ceilings have metal in them. I hope that's okay. So just a little weird foreshadowing for you. So he leaves to go grab the pie. They admire his cozy living room. He returns with a tray, saying that his wife is being shy, and they begin to talk about religion. He asks where they're from. They're all trying to figure out, what is that one true religion? Sister Paxton brings it back to Joseph Smith, and Mr. Reed then pulls out a Book of Mormon with a bunch of annotations in it. It is clear that he has been in this thing studying the word. Um, they continue to talk, and abruptly, Mr. Reed asks how Sister Barnes's father died. Really, really weird, abrupt question. Uh, was it blueberry disease? No, it was Lou Gehrig's disease. Funny little mix up.
Yeah.
He asks her, though, if her father has ever tried to communicate from the other side. So, an interesting, more spiritual question, bringing it
Mhm.
back to the conversation they're having. Suddenly, all the lights go out, and Mr. Reed says it's time for pie and enlightenment. He then asks if they feel okay with awkward questions. Uh, it's about their views on polygamy, being Mormons. What is that? And ends up looping around to basically calling them out on how the church is just an organization that goes with the flow. How the church
Mhm.
just kind of used revelation as the reason that they changed their views on polygamy, when really it was probably the cultural milieu of the time and the pressures from outside forces that were forcing them to conform with a more modern sensibility. So they continue to go back and forth. He's saying that polygamy was just a part of the Mormon faith so that Joseph Smith could cheat on his wife and get away with it and have it be spiritual. So if revelation is filtered through man, then how can we know if anything is true?
Ooh.
In the middle of this philosophical and theological conversation, he abruptly asks, "What's your favorite fast food restaurant?" We learn that they don't talk about Taco Bell. They end up settling on Wendy's. And so he then grabs a candle, tells them all about his religious journey, tells them going through all the different faiths, all that claim to be true, but none seemed to be true whenever he held them under that microscope. And the last thing that he wanted to do was find that last true religion, but unfortunately, he did. Getting a little bit awkward now, and the girls ask, "Can we please meet your wife?" Like, dear Lord, you've been telling us your wife exists for a while. He leaves. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm going to go get my wife. She's right in the other room." They then discuss how they should quickly get out of this situation
Yeah.
because it is getting a little bit stressful. All of a sudden, they look at the candle that was left there on the table, and it's scented like blueberry pie. The ruse is starting to fall apart. I don't think his wife exists after all.
Mm.
But he leads them back into the kitchen to uh, meet his wife. Sister Barnes tries to fake a call, and they try to leave, but they don't have their coats with the keys to the bike lock. And also, the door does not budge when they try to open it. They try to see if they could fit through one of the tiny windows, but all of them are much too small for a person to get out. And their calls to the elders are not going through. Lights go out again, and they have no choice but to go down the dark hall after Mr. Reed. They open a door at the end of the hall and find his library. They tell him that they need to get back to the church. They grab their jackets and they say they need his help with the door. And he tells them that that door will not open again because the deadbolt is on a timer
Mm.
and it's not going to open till morning.
Mm.
Very interesting security system to have at your house.
Yeah. Creepy.
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual. So he says you got to go out the back door. Sister Barnes also thinks that that's unusual, and she kind of calls him on it. She's like, it's a little bit weird." And he says, "Hey, you're free to leave at any time, and he'll give you the space to make your decision." He then calls them out on faking a call, and he knows that they faked the call because there's metal in the walls and the ceiling. That's what that foreshadowing was. You can't get a call through whenever the walls are all metaled up like that, apparently. But yeah, so they ask again for his wife to come in. and he asked them if they still believe that his wife is in the other room despite all the evidence to the contrary.
You
And
know,
now we
the
begin.
like weird part about that is you knew like pretty quickly um through their conversations that there was no wife. But
Yeah.
still when he
And you
said it,
knew that they knew
I know, but right
pretty
when he
quickly.
said it, I was like, "Oh no." Like that tension was so freaking high from moving into that room down the hallway and into the what, the study.
The study, yeah. No, that was it was really really well done. One thing that I'll say about this movie, and I'll talk about it more later, but I felt like the pacing was just really really good. We've
Great.
watched some of the other movies, even with really good movies like Midsummer, you have those times where they drag, and I really don't feel like they milked any of those like creepy slower moments. That horror movie's gonna need those creepy slow moments and those silences and stuff like that. And it feels like that they did a really good job of utilizing that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, didn't slow it down at all. So he asks basically if they still believe in God. You know, it's like even though that they have all this evidence to the contrary, and it's just what you've been raised up to believe. Do you still believe in something just because somebody told you to believe in it? Um, they try to leave. They really want to get out of there. He's saying that they're free to go, but there are two doors that apparently lead to an exit. Um, Neither of them look like good options.
Yeah.
Now, back at the church, Elder Kennedy is busy cleaning up, and he notices that the girls did not clean the bathroom that day, and he is wondering where they are. So he heads off to look for them. Back at the house, they ask for his help to leave. It's really their only option at this point. He says that it is very important that they choose which door to go out of. He pulls out this game of Monopoly, throws on a little bit of music, and starts comparing the old Abrahamic religions to the game of Monopoly and the predecessor, the landlord game, and all of the other iterations of Monopoly that have come about. They naturally ask, what the hell does this have to do with us leaving? And he says, everything. He continues to explain the history of Monopoly and says that he is going to make a disturbing claim that night. He begins talking about the three Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and then compares the Book of Mormon to the Bob Ross Monopoly. It is just a different version of this board game that everybody knows and loves. It then talks about an intellectual property lawsuit involving Radiohead, and
Yeah.
accuses the girls of being dirty salesmen. They're just
Ooh.
salesmen for Mormonism. And he has an idea though that he would like to sell them on.
What would that be?
So he then turns on a little projector and goes through all of the different religions and all the different stories from ancient human texts and says all of them are connected, and that all of these religions are just the iterations of these stories that we've been telling for centuries, something older than all of these religions. Basically, he says that these are just Star Wars Episode 1, and then proceeds to do one of the worst Jar Jar Binks impressions that I have ever seen.
We might be throwing up
It,
a Star Wars counter, a Star Wars and Lord of the Rings counter, because
we
those are the
we might have
two
to. This one's not my
ones.
fault. This was in the movie.
It's true.
He mentions it in the movie. He says
It's
Star Wars Episode 1,
true.
The Phantom Menace, okay?
All
This one is
right.
not my fault. All
Free
right.
pass.
So so he goes to the two doors. He writes belief on one, disbelief on the other door, and says that they have to choose based on what they actually believe. Do they still believe in God, or do they not believe in God? He says that all the churches are a lie. and they must choose what they actually believe. Sister Paxton, she says he's convinced them and that they should leave through the disbelief door,
Ah,
and tries to get Sister Barnes to go with her.
right.
Sister Barnes says he's convinced, or she's convinced that he's not going to let them leave and that he's studying them. And she starts to call out all the holes in his religious metaphor and have that little debate with him back and forth that he has clearly been wanting this entire time.
Hmm.
Um, she says that she still believes and that they're going to go out the belief door. So they climb down this dark staircase and he shuts the door behind them and locks it.
Yeah.
They come to a door at the bottom of the stairs. They push it open and enter a large room with an opening in the ceiling and a table and a chair sitting in the center of the room. Sister Barnes has an idea. She says they have to start arguing with him. They have to start making him think. If they can do this, maybe they can get him talking. Maybe they can get him distracted. Sister Barnes also says that Sister Paxton has to stab him in the neck with a letter opener. This is another thing that she thinks might work. So she gives it to Sister Paxton. It's like he's not gonna expect you. He's looking at me all weird. He's suspicious of me. I've been putting up a little bit of a fight with him, but he's not gonna expect sweet old innocent Paxton to stab him in the neck with a letter opener.
Yeah.
So they're in there trying to figure out how to get out when all of a sudden the door creaks open and in walks a robed woman with dirty bare
Oh,
feet
yeah. Yeah.
who comes in and drops a pie off of the table, and they hear song Creep by Radiohead coming through a pipe in the ground.
Yeah.
Mr. Reed sits in his study and takes notes, and the woman balls up on the floor, just begins breathing really, really heavily. Barnes is still trying to get through the door. Reed says that they are in the presence of a prophet of the living God. That is who this dirty robed woman is, a prophet of the true living God. And he needs a witness to a miracle to prove that all the other religions are false. And these girls are gonna be his witnesses. Um, you remember like that annoying atheist kid in high school that was just like he was like too smart to really be friends with anyone just because any kind of thing that you would say he would just it's like this is that guy grown up and just it's like he could not make any friends so he has to prove that he's right in just like the most extreme way
Yeah.
in the world. But he explains to the girls this pie is poisoned and it's going to kill the prophet, but then the prophet is going to be resurrected. Miracle, one true God. Mormonism is fake. Didn't you see the South Park musical? Come on, guys,
Mm.
catch up. So she eats the pie, falls face first into the pie. He has them check her pulse. She's gone. She is dead. She is cold. And even though she makes a few guttural noises, when they check the pulse, check her breath, she's dead. Now all of a sudden, doorbell rings. And who is it? Oh my gosh. It's Brother Kennedy.
Oh,
He's there looking for the girls.
they're saved.
Scream, but it is no use. Nope.
Oh,
He's pretty worthless. He's not gonna find them at all. You think, hey, maybe he'll see the bikes out front. Nope, doesn't see the bikes. Um, but he does not find these girls, but he does distract Mr. Reed for a little bit. While he's gone, they try to pull the rug under the door to get the matches, start a fire. Fire, smoke will go up. Somebody will see the smoke. It's a genius plan. Honestly, it's foolproof. They're able to grab a few matches from underneath the door. Now the elder does return to the front door, and you think, oh, maybe he saw the bikes. Maybe he's
mm-hmm.
coming back to get him.
Oh yeah.
But no, he just wanted to make sure that the
Oh.
guy had one of the Mormon pamphlets. He was like, gotta have
Mm.
these literature. And honestly, these things are taking up so much space at the church office, and I need to get them out. People are not taking them, man.
Pretty
Tell you.
good salesman.
Yeah. So it's no, he's not gonna help these women at all. So the girls, with their matches, try to start a fire. Paxton looks back to see that Prophet's not on the table anymore. Prophet's gone. Oh my gosh, the Prophet's right behind her. So we get a nice little jump scare with
Mhm.
the Prophet coming back.
Did it
Throws up a
get
little
you?
bit of that leftover blueberry pie. Well, I mean, like with that one, you know it's coming. If that
Did
one
it
gets you,
did
if
it
that
get
one
you?
gets you, no, it didn't get me.
Oh,
If
okay.
that one gets you, you're kind of just not prepared. Because like as soon as they pan over and show, oh, nobody's at the table, you're like, oh, well, where else could she be other than right behind the ear of the character that we're looking at?
Sure.
It's the next logical place to go if you're a ghost or a demon. So
Or a prophet.
just makes sense. Or a prophet, allegedly. But this prophet then throws up some of that blueberry pie and speaks a slow cryptic message about them like unplugging their brain and how none of this is real. And so then Mr. Reed comes and takes the prophet away. Comes back to see the girls and tells them he knows that they've been lying. He wants them to explain what they saw as they are his witnesses. And he says, so I can show you God if you guys want to die real quick and then come on back. I can bring you back.
Well,
Yeah, no. Sister Barnes is not buying that. She's like, I was wondering how you were going to convince us that it's our idea for you to kill us. It's like, not fooling me. I may be getting killed by you, but I'm not gonna be the one whose idea it is to kill me. So suck it. Um, but yeah, so Barnes isn't buying it. Says she's full of it. She tells him the Taco Bell story and
mm,
about how whenever she was a child, Taco Bell actually killed her. And she had the same experience as that prophet, and that it's all just a false correlation. And these are just things that happen whenever you have those near death experiences. Um, and then Barnes is trying to signal Paxton to, like, hey, get this dude in the neck with the letter opener while I got him distracted with my monologue.
right.
But instead of that happening, Mr. Reed just takes a box cutter and slices her neck open and
Well, they
just,
had those. They had the code word.
yeah,
They had the
the
code
magic
word,
underwear.
and it just didn't work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the code word did work because right as she said it, he slashed her neck. So I think they were all operating on this code because
Yeah.
yeah, he was pretty quick with that little blade. That
Yeah.
was honestly the most shocking death of the movie. I thought that she was going to be our final girl.
Yeah,
I
same.
I
When I
was
first watched it, absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, okay, the one who's a little bit more defiant was like this little pretty one that's super like gullible and a little bit more innocent. She's the one that's gonna get killed in a very spectacular fashion. And
Yeah.
then no, it was in fact Sister Barnes with the box cutter to the throat. So so she falls to the ground and 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 dies from what we can see. Um but yeah, so he Paxton or Mr. Reed is like, don't worry, I can wake her back up. It's like I did the prophet. And then he doesn't wake her back up at all. He's like, oh shoot, well, this isn't working at all. Cuts into her arm, pulls that little metal thing, and is like, oh, hey, look, she has this little blockage thing in her. That's why she's an NPC. So
Mm.
she couldn't be brought back. But you, don't worry. Don't worry, Paxton. We can bring you back because you a real one. All right. You a real one.
Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so she calls out his BS. She's starting to gain a little bit of confidence now and challenges that theory. She's like, maybe it was a birth control implant, and maybe she was embarrassed to tell us that she had it because that's frowned upon in Mormonism. Um, she thinks that something went wrong with his plan and that he's improvising.
Yeah.
She thinks that he switched the bodies. She
Ooh.
thinks there's another way into this basement. And he's like, okay, yeah.
Ooh.
Where's the door? And she's like, what about under this table? Flips up the table. What is there? Boom, a trapdoor. So he says that her theory means that there must be a dead body down there. So she's got to go check
Mhm.
and see if there's a dead body down there. Because she actually does make the decision to go down there. She's like, I want to know. And so I'm going to go and do it. And so she courageously goes down into the cellar. And he says, don't go down there unless you want to discover the one true religion. And so she goes down and she sees the body. And then Reed just shuts her inside of that thing. So they keep going just lower and lower into this house. And each time it's just he's up there to just shut that door on him. It's like, have you not figured this out yet? Stop going down into the. It's not getting better for you. But anyway, she's exploring this new basement, the basement within the basement, trying and hoping for a way out. She's seeing all kinds of black magic material and different animal skulls, pentagrams, and stars of Remphan just etched into the walls. Every kind of weird, creepy little thing is down there. She finds a door that's locked with the bike lock that looks suspiciously just like the one that she had.
Yeah.
Pulls the bike lock key out of her jacket pocket and it works. She is able to open the door and she finds in that room a bunch of cages filled with
Ooh.
women dressed just like the prophet.
Yeah.
She was right. The bodies were switched out. He's got a bunch of prophets in there just ready to come in and just pretend to have resurrected from the dead.
Right.
Yeah. So Mr. Reed comes in and asks if she's figured it out yet. What's the one true religion? And she says it's control. And he says, yes, you figured it out. Religion is just a system of control. You're over here just drinking the Kool-Aid. And he's been able to use her religion to predict every single decision that she has made in that house tonight. But he did not predict her stabbing him in the neck with a letter opener, which she
Oh.
proceeds to do. So she gives him a little letter opener to the jugular, runs out, can't find the door, back down into the other basement. It's like the kids trying to escape from Legends of the Hidden Temple back in the 90s, and it's just like, dude, like, no, you can't see, you just go up. You just gotta go up.
Back to the hidden
So
temple.
she's trying to get out of there. And she's looking at the model, trying to figure out, it's like, okay, how are we doing this thing? But eventually she finds herself back into the creepy basement, and Mr. Reed is staggered in there, holding his neck, trying to end her as his last deed in this world. With his dying words, he tells her to pray for them, and she tells him that praying doesn't work, but that it's still kind of nice to do something for other people out of the kindness of your own heart, or just to do something nice for you and yourself. And so she begins praying for herself as he crawls his way over towards her, choking on his own blood, when suddenly he is hit in the face with a board full of nails that Sister Barnes had left over by the wall. And it was swung by Sister Barnes. She's not dead. She's risen from the dead for just a brief moment, if nothing else, to save Sister Paxton. Maybe prayer does work after all,
Ooh.
folks. Maybe that's the lesson of this movie. Um, but Sister Paxton is able to escape through an air vent. She sits in the snow, finally free from that hell on Earth, and a butterfly comes and lands on her hand. Butterfly, I guess I didn't mention this. Butterfly was kind of a thing in the movie. Like they saw
Mhm.
one inside in the window that was too small to climb through, and then said something about like her mom coming back and like, or if she dies, she's gonna come back as a butterfly and land on people's hands. Butterfly
Right.
lands on her hands. It's all super symbolic. All that stuff. Cut to black in the movie. She made it out.
Yeah. What a wild ride of a movie it is. The small cast is perfect. I mean, yeah, there's not that many people in it. It's so good though. Like they do such a great job. So shout out to your casting agency that worked on
Yeah.
this. They were so
And
good
also, it's
and
really only like two locations, maybe three. Like we could say
yeah,
like
sure.
three locations. You have like the living room, this the main study, and then the creepy basement, and then you have a couple other rooms, but it's really only in there for a brief time. Most of the action takes place in one of three spots.
Right. So there's like a scene that we talked about earlier where Mr. Reed's asked them about that favorite fast food, and that camera it shoots to like a wide angle, and while they're talking, it shoots Hugh Grant as so much bigger than the other two girls. And I thought that that was like a real moment that it was showing that he was already in control of the situation.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm like over reading too much into that, but I just thought it was so great. It just like here's the predator and here's the prey. And it circles right back around to what he says, the true religion is. Um, and then right after that scene, just how tense it was when she turned over that candle, and you knew it when she kept staring at that candle the entire time. You were like, "Oh no!" Because I think right when he brought it out, you could see her like face move a little bit. She's like, "What is that? Why am I all
Well,
of a
he asks,
sudden
it's like,
getting
hey,
this like?"
what is the pie? What kind of pie do you think it is? And they sniff the air. It's like, is it blueberry? It's like, yeah, it's blueberry. Got that right.
Yeah,
But Sister Barnes still ain't buying it,
I
and then
mean, I
sees
mean,
that candle.
I mean, damn, there are just some moments in this movie that are so good. The makeup department killed it with those
Absolutely.
resurrected prophets. I mean,
Yeah.
goodness gracious, grossed me out. Shout out to
So
them.
freaky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it
Those are the
was
ones that you see pop up in the nightmares from time to time because it's just it's they're gross in that like realistic way where you're like, okay, you can still tell that this is a human being and you can and but you can't necessarily tell that this is a makeup job. Like you could
ah
that it feels like it could be a demon. So
yeah, for real. And also, usually when you get like a horror movie with a religious subject matter, it turns into like demons or a battle between the people in the church, or the people of the church are doing something to some terrible people. But this
you
wasn't,
have that
and
boneheaded priest that's really stuck in his ways, that's,
right.
not gonna go against tradition.
So this was like really refreshing in that respect. Man, I mean, like I watched this movie when it had come out on VOD and then immediately watched it again like 2 nights later because I was like, man, what a good movie. I haven't really revisited it since then, but I was glad I did. The moment that we were talking about it, doing this, I was like, oh, The Heretic, easy. Like that'll be such like a fun. I mean, it's not a fun movie, but it's it's a really
Depends on your
good
definition
movie,
of fun.
right?
Apparently, some of these horror movie fans have much different definitions of fun.
And I'm there with them. But yeah, this movie for me is going to be 4 stars. I think this movie's awesome. I recommend it to just about anybody, whether you're religious or not. I mean, this is a good one.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna also give this one 4 stars on my end. This was a really good movie. This is one that I would definitely watch again. Once again, A24 is killing it. Maybe we'll start watching their pretentious movies that are
Mm,
out there and their super highbrow stuff that makes me want to vomit. But this one they did a really good job. Kind of like you were saying with the how religions in these types of movies can almost just be like caricatured, where it is just that little cartoon version of what it is, or that straw man version that's easy to knock down. But this one, you actually felt like they were having real theological debates back and forth, and that there was actually, like two sides to it, and that each side was competent, and that's the
Yeah,
big thing, because a lot of the times, whenever they're strawmanning it, you just have an idiot arguing for one of those sides. So
right.
this one was this one was done really, really well with that. And then also there were just like those little things with the cinematography. I think I
Oh
mentioned
yeah.
earlier that it did just flow really well. There was that scene where she is running through the house, and it has her little figurine on the model of the house that's on his desk, like running
Super
through.
cool. Yeah.
That was just, it was just cool little things like that that you don't really notice all of them in the moment, but they just kind of add to the movie, and make it really, really enjoyable. So I had a good time with this one, and this is one that I would recommend to even non-horror fans. It's like, hey, if you're cool with being freaked out a little bit, like,
Yeah.
this one isn't one that really overdoes it on like the blood and gore. You feel like all the violence and all of the goriness is something that's actually a pushing the story forward, and so it's not gratuitous with that stuff.
Yeah, there isn't anything done just to be done. It's a really smartly made movie. And
There's no
I
geysers of blood coming out of anything.
absolutely,
It's like
which
even
look,
the throat slit is really a small level of blood.
well,
Like,
I'm telling you though, guys are blood all of a sudden, 4.5 stars. Easy.
hey, maybe that's what it done. They should have had it squirt out of Sister Barnes's neck, and
No,
then
because they would have. I mean, the way they did it was perfect. Because if they would have went like over the top, all of a sudden I've been like, all right.
kind of takes you out of the moment. Yeah, no, that was a
Yeah,
moment
yeah.
that it's like it was really tense already, and then he
Uh,
just cuts that tension with a box cutter. Um, so
okay, that's what we're doing.
yeah.
That's what we're doing today, huh?
Yep.
Well, look, guys,
But
if you liked it, like, subscribe. We're pretty much on all of them. We're on the TikTok, we're on the Facebooks. The place that you're gonna find the most activity is probably gonna be Instagram. Even though, everything kind of gets shadow posted right now,
our
but
biggest following, though, actually, Truth Social. I'm just kidding. We
true.
don't have a Truth Social.
True. No, it's completely false. But yeah, man,
No.
we're having fun. I hope you guys are having fun with it too. Well, it's been Horror and the Hater. We'll catch you later.